All right, so I had a kind of a crazy morning. I'm gonna do a breakdown on the trades I just did, and then work into the system a little bit and show you kind of what my trading system is. And I know you're a sharpshooter too. So hopefully we can work together and kind of like make our systems as good as possible. But first, I'm going to show this crazy account that I traded. I had a Apex account today that I traded, and I just signed up for it. It's the 25K trailing drawdown with a $1,500 profit target, $1,500 trailing stop, and it's like $19. And I haven't done an intraday trailing for a while, so I was just like, fuck it, and I just went for it, sized up and just smashed it. So here's the P&L from it. Right, I took a $50 loss right off the bat, and I basically took three more trades, and I put up $1,700, and of course it passed it. So first, after commissions, it's more like 1680. So absolutely smashed it. Really irresponsible sizing, but it all went in my direction. So here are the trades. This is a 500 tick over here, and then this is a 125,000 volumetric chart over here. So I gotta get my coffee. All right, so 500 tick, 120,000 volumetric, and then I have an hourly, a 5,000 tick, and 1,500 or no 15,000 volumetric chart, which I'll show in a second. So this trade here, we're breaking down. I think maybe before I get into no, I'll talk about the setup. I'll talk about the setup and why the setup worked. So if we put a yellow rectangle right here, we might be able to transfer it over to the no, it's not showing right here. I was hoping it would show right here, but if you look at the volumetric chart, what I was seeing set up, and this is kind of a long-term chart, right? Like each of these, for right now, each of these is about a 10-minute distribution, but sometimes they can be like hours. And what I was setting up was, what I was seeing was this, and the reason why I was shorting the bottom, I'll show it on three different charts. So we had distribution here with a taper, double distribution, but basically distribution here with a taper. We had a distribution here, and then we had this selling pressure right in this area right here, and sellers couldn't get any traction, but we still had a taper here. But it looked like there was interest in pushing lower. Then we had another kind of whatever distribution, but we had the taper down here. I'm not surprised that we were building in volume in this area right now. That's not surprising to me. But it was on this distribution right here when we started building this volume, and this top wasn't set. It was just this volume right here. That was showing me that finally price was getting accepted inside these tapers. And I was like, all right, so this is a short. So I saw this setup right here. I said, all right, I'm going to kind of short here. And then once we start breaking down below it, I'm just going to load in, especially if, the way the candles are moving, et cetera. If they're speeding up, if they're whatever, I'm going to size in. So I sized in. My auto bracket is like 25 points, 25 point loss, 25 point profit target. And then I adjust those as needed. But yeah, this was my setup. And bam, 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 hit it, got out, profit target made. This was this trade. And then here are my other two trades. This is really like irresponsible sizing. So this was my first trade. I took a loss on one. Then we came down, and where were we on this one? Okay, so we're in this area right here. Let's see if I can find that on my 15. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So if we look at my 15,000, whatever. We were in a range. We were in a range. I was shorting the top of the range. Boom, got out. Right at the bottom, and then I took another trade shortly after, same spot, got out right at the bottom, and we can break that down a little bit more, but it doesn't really fucking matter at this point. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to my sim account, and then I'm gonna kind of do a breakdown on what my system is. So first thing I do is this is I have a hourly chart here. I've thought about using volumetric chart or something with a little bit something that doesn't use time, so I can see my levels a little bit better. But I'm really happy with how the hourly is working, so I'm not going to change something that's not that doesn't seem to be broken. So all of these levels I'm drawing off of structure and structure changes, right? So I use my dumb little zigzag. Drawing tool. I mark out, the lower lows, the higher highs, and then any place where something breaks. And when those levels break, I typically draw in a line. And then those lines, more often than not, are support and resistance going forward. So, for example, here's a higher high. So previous low, come in here, we break it, we put in a higher high. So now this isn't a key level, right? So we draw that up. Then put in a higher high, higher low, higher high, or equal high. That makes this a key level. And when you see this one, you just draw it across and you see how many times, hitting it from below, hitting it from above, hitting it from below, hitting it from above, right? I mean, that level just keeps playing out, even though we broke it. It kind of keeps playing out. So I'm always looking for like the next level, and then that's where all these blue lines are. I'm not going to go through why each of those lines is there. If you look on the right, these volume profiles, I have the current volume profile, and this is in regular trading hours. This is a full session from 5 p.m. till 4 p.m. Central Time. And then I have the rolling 5-day, which is this lighter gray. I keep thinking I'm going to change that color just because it's kind of a little bit tough to read. Maybe I'll do that right now. Yeah, I just fucked around with it. I'm going to certainly change this eventually, but this is a 5-day. And then I have the dynamic 5-day POC. So, this is rolling 5 days. So this is the highest point of control over the last 5 sessions. This is a developing POC for the current session. And then back here, it says 25-day POC, but I think this dark gray volume profile is basically as long as I can get it. So it's like 100 days or whatever. And then, so that's my basic setup. So what I'm looking for is often low volume nodes, and then I'm looking for how these blue lines correspond to some of these low volume nodes, right? So like, like this blue line right here that we have drawn is actually at the 5-day high, right? So do I want to adjust that up a little bit? Yeah, I can. This guy here, this 914 has been pretty key, but if I wanted to move it up to this low volume node, I can move it up there. But I actually have like 915, 912 to 915 kind of like stuck in my head. So I'm just going to kind of keep it in that zone. So that's what I'm doing, right? And then you look at this, here's a low volume node right here, whatever. Here's one on the daily. It doesn't really matter. I just kind of keep all of that in mind. All right. So how do we trade this then? All right. Am I in sim? I am in sim. Okay, good. So, I have my ongoing narrative, and I try to look at this before. I try to look at this before. Well, I try to look at this every day, and I should be looking at this probably before each and every trade. And that's probably something that I need to work on, because this will probably keep me out of more trouble than not. Interestingly, right now we have on this current volume profile, let's just say from this recent swing high this week, like here's this. So I said anticipated chop zone from here down to here, but obviously that wasn't the case. That obviously wasn't the case. We just cut right fucking through that. So that's what, and all these other calls were really good. That one was particularly bad. Building volume below 875 could indicate a major leg down. This was written there before we just completely built volume underneath this blue line. That was a decent call. And now we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. So I would say right now, this low volume node is incredibly important. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in like a little yellow rectangle right here in this zone. And we're gonna see how this plays on some of these other charts. So this is this, right? So basically what we've done here is I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for shorts coming up into this. I think the opening balance or the initial balance low is right around here. The overnight, it could be the overnight in London or something, could be right there. So we're gonna check on that level here in a second. All right, so come over yonder. Yeah, here we are. So this is overnight low. It looks like hard to read, but you can see I have a label right there. And so sure enough, we went up and we tested it, and now we're rejecting off of that. And that's what's going on right there. So the shorts are on. And what I'm looking for right now is on that 125 volumetric chart on the left. I'm looking to see the shape of the interest of the buyers and the sellers, right? So right now we have this. Right now we have this zone right now, right? And we had heavy sellers up above that. So I would be anticipating that if we could shrink this down at this point. I want to be short underneath this. If we take this out and build volume like right here, that's going to tell me that we're going to want to do another leg higher. But underneath this, I'm happy. I'm happy to be short. We have our initial balance low right here. We have this taper right here. I'm not sure how to process this. We whipped through it once. It makes me think we can whip through it again. Heavy selling right here. Be interesting to see on a different chart what happened right here. So we're going to bring over the volume, the shorter term volumetric chart here. Let's check it out. What's going on? So we have the bid-ask difference on the left, the delta, and then over here we have the volume profile. That's what we're looking at. So there's a lot of acceptance of price right here. And the acceptance of price right there, we have to make that decision whether or not that's a battle between the bulls and bears, right? And the bulls are defending this level and they're actually trying to make it push up, or if that is the bears had, as like we saw in this previous chart, pushed all the way up here, and now we're coming back here, and this is an acceptance spot, and this is a line in the sand that they've drawn. So I'm trying to figure out who's doing what at this point. Okay, here we are. We're coming into that area that I was talking about, where I was like, if the bulls start putting in volume in this area, I want to be start looking at longs, and we're going to do it like higher. So I'm going to watch this volume build. This is where I would probably consider taking a long. So we're dipping into the zone. This is a retest of a breakout. If I see a 3 candle reversal right here, I'm probably going to get in, and I might add. Okay, I'm gonna get in on one because I like this risk reward. VWAP is an obvious target. If we can put in a 3 candle revert, I'm gonna add another one. I'm gonna keep a stop the same as this, and then I'm gonna look to maybe do a really aggressive add here. Yep. All right, there we go. We're up. We're up, and we're in. So right now we're risking. There we go. We got one taken off. So we're building volume in that area that I was talking about. We're building volume right inside here. I'm gonna go stop break even on all this. So I'm not gonna take a loss right now. And just taking off a couple, just getting a couple nickels, right? I do this constantly where I'll just like, I'm happy taking $5-10 in profit off, and then I just try to get it running on. So I'll allow myself in like on a serious account, I'll allow myself to size up between maybe like 5 and 10 contracts. And I start with one, and then one or two, and then I don't add unless if it's a winner, right? That's kind of a new rule. I used to dollar cost average down into zones, but I realized that like the moves that I'm trying to get, like these 25-point moves or whatever, I want them to be explosive. And if they're not explosive, then I kind of don't want to be in them. Okay, here we go. This could be a buy. So yeah, this is a bit of a chase. This is a bit of a chase, but it's all right. I'll still add on strike. Yep. Going for it. I don't love this trade right now. I don't love this trade right now. Nope. But this is in that area where we're building volume. If we're kind of actually below the area where I was saying that where I wanted to build volume. All right, let's see what we got. I'm going to take 2 quick, take a third, take a fourth, take this one off, and then move to stop break even. Looking good. Sweet. So in the last 3 minutes, and then my stops automatically trail once there's a certain profit. So in the last 3 minutes, we made $160. There we go. So our initial target of that VWAP, right? We hit the VWAP, and we're exploding. Look at this shit. All right, now we gotta since it's buzzing so hard, we're gonna give it a little bit more space. All right, so we're hitting these blue lines, rejection. Yeah, I'm gonna tighten that right the fuck up. 55 points. Yeah, that's $110 on there that I'm locking in profit. So yeah, we're up $250 right now on this little system. So I don't know, like 7, was that my biggest size that I got up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought I had over 7 on at one point, but whatever. So we're doing this. I'm about to get popped. Yep, got popped. So there we go. That was that trade. I really like having one runner. That's the number one game for me. Is just to get one runner to be able to get that, like, 50 points, 100 points, 200 points sometimes. But today's a down day, and so I'm not gonna marry these. I'm not gonna marry these longs. So now when we come back here, we gotta look at our narrative. We popped up and we came into this zone right here. Right. And if we're to look at for like the point of control in the zone, we're looking at this probably, right? Well, I mean, there it is. But the all of this volume in the back of my mind, I'm thinking we're going to reject. However, I did think this volume was going to reject too. Oh, fuck. I just realized something. All right, so check this out. So, all right, I'm still dealing with pneumonia. So we have this. This is Friday's action, more or less. This is Friday's action, right? And then we had Monday morning come around. So Monday morning comes around right here. This is the Monday morning. And this was Monday's price action. Monday's price action, we put in a simple distribution, right? And if you notice, there's like a high volume node right here. From in the overnight session, at the bottom of the zone right here, we saw a massive move up. There was a little bit of a volume build right in this area, but we flew up and we ended up putting a poor high up here. So that was telling me on Monday's or Tuesday's price action that this low volume node here was going to be viable. And sure enough, we came down here and we tested this high volume node, and then we soared up and we soared up higher. Now, when we put this into perspective, when we have this, let's just do, so this is like Monday, Tuesday's price action, I guess it would be. When we look at this level right here, this guy, this little fight that happened right here is this little like volume right here. This little volume. Other than that, like, let's do this better. Let's do it like this here. Look, it was this volume. It was this little battle right here. And so I was anticipating chop here, but the truth is that all of this pricing was sorted and price was able to move quickly across it. And I don't know why I was thinking that this was going to be choppy on the way down, because it was like, it was sorted on the way up, so it was sorted on the way down, and we flipped through it down so quickly and up through it so quickly after we battled for however long in this region for it looks like most of last week we were battling it. I don't know why I didn't consider that. So that's something that I got to consider going forward. So yeah, we just got that nice little pop. We rode that up, but I think we're looking for shorts right now. Yeah, look at this. That was a great exit on that. So, but where did we come down to now? We came down to exactly that spot where I was like, if we build volume in this area, then we gotta start looking for longs. So we're kind of getting some mixed signals, right? We're kind of getting some mixed signals, but we're above the overnight low. If we look at this 125,000 volumetric chart, we're seeing kind of a solid distribution. We're seeing like some pretty serious longer term acceptance in this area. I would think Looking at this chart, we have a lot of buying here. We have a lot of buying right here on this, on the top of this flagpole. Yep. So that's telling me that there are bulls up here who still want to get in. It's not quite a taper, right? Like there's a little bit of a quieting of the bulls. Like the bulls are kind of running a little bit out of gas right here. You know, we'd want to see mounting volume up at these highs instead of like a decreasing volume. Like this is a perfect example of a taper right here. The bulls ran out of gas, right? Bulls ran out of gas. Bulls totally ran out of gas on this one. But now we're looking to see how this volume is building. And this is a fairly quick chart, right? So yeah, right now this is working as like a 1-2 minute chart. So pretty fast. We're watching this to see how we're doing. And we're accepting. So this is telling me kind of that we want to maybe be tentatively long. So let's take a look for where our stops could be. We have this little volume mount right here. Yeah. We have this volume overhead that could come crashing down on us. Looking at the 5,000 tick chart. So, you know, 10 times slower than the 500. We're looking at all this volume right here on the daily is just sitting above us. And then we have a potential short up here at 565. And we just ran 300 points, 250 points off the lows. This looks like it was a settlement up here. Yeah, we're accepting higher. This is, I think we gotta be looking long. Yep, we're doing it. So we're in a little bit of a chase right now, but we're gonna take it. Got $50 in risk on. And this 565 is the low volume node that we're gonna target. So I think we're gonna go through all of this volume, all this accepted volume here, and we're gonna make it up to the side of the volume node. All right, here's a 3 candle reversal. Like I said, I'm gonna allow myself to DCA right now because I knew that this was a chase and this is like kind of the ideal spot to get in. So I like having that right there. If we take out this high, I might do an aggressive add, getting up to, you know, close to 10 contracts or something. There we go. And I'm looking for nickels right off the bat. I'm looking for nickels. Bam, that's a nickel. That's a nickel. Take another nickel. We move a couple stops up to that low volume node, and then we move one up to settlement, where I think settlement was. I don't have it on my chart. Right now, if we get a big impulse, I may go break even. There it is, break even. Look to take off another nickel. Yeah. There we go. So when I say nickel, that's $20. So a little bit more than a nickel. Come on, man. Now I'm gonna do my I'm gonna be limiting note. So, you know, I'm selling the ask, trying to make sure that I'm not getting slippage to the downside because whatever. Stops at break even. Long 4. We'll have a stop here. Stop here. We go, got that one. Looking good. And we're gonna lock this in, lock that in. Here we go. These might start trailing now because I fucked with them. Yeah, one of them is. It's cool. We'll lock this in too. Which means that now since we're adjusting our profit targets from below, we can adjust our profit targets above and move those up. I don't really give a fuck if I think I can make 50 points and I'm making 30. I just want to lock in some profits, because I trade so much. I'm not gonna try to make exactly my profit target all the time because, I think we're gonna go up to 565. Yes. But like this could be an ad right here for me, right? I don't care that I just got stopped out here. This right here is a structure of an ad. And so like I could have just added there. And I don't care that I didn't, So right now I've got my run. So this is my runner now. And I'm looking for maybe 600 on it. Of course, the 565 like we talked about, but I'm also looking for like that 600. So let's see if we can get that. How we doing? We're up about 450, and I think we've only taken a couple of small losses. This was yesterday, right? Yeah, this was yesterday. So we're just looking at today. Okay, 400. So this is what we're doing. And this doesn't take into account what the commissions are. This price up here does. So if we look at the volume metric with the delta split on it, what are we seeing? We build volume in that range where I was saying we should be looking for the volume build. Which is basically this. This is basically the volume ad right here that we're looking at. And then now this is huge. Building volume right here is huge. And now we're making our move up. We didn't quite make it up to that 565 yet. It'll be interesting to see what we do. But here are these blue lines. Rejection at this one, consolidation, rejection at the next one. We had a little bit of a bounce right there. And it'll be interesting to see what we do. And both of those blue lines there, yeah, I don't know what the, so one of these is, there it is. All right, we got stopped. So just a wee little gain on that last one. All right, let's build our trade thesis up for this next one. Yeah, oftentimes they talk about scalpers as just like, trading every wiggle in the market. And I can certainly fall into that description sometimes. And that's kind of when tilt hits. All right, so what are we seeing right now? This is interesting, right? So let's build our thesis. So this was our previous volume build right here, more or less. So we look at our 15,000 volume metric, and we're looking at this distribution, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we have this zone right here, which is kind of failing right now. We're seeing a taper. So we're dipping down to see if there's any bears down there, and there aren't. So our previous thesis was long above a volume build above this yellow line down here, right? Or this yellow box. So if we build volume here, price is accepting above a key level, and we gotta start looking for longs. However, now this is kind of our key level to the upside, and we got to keep in mind that we are kind of in the midway zone of this volume distribution over here on the daily. So failure here could be a thing, right? It could be a thing. So this is tough. This is kind of a tough situation. Huge buyers up here and they failed. So these guys got stuck. I don't have I haven't figured out how to get my total delta divergence numbers on these charts yet, but I'll figure it out hopefully this weekend. All right. Don't want to chase for just the sake of chasing. Here we go. We're getting a little bit of a sell-off. We're getting a big taper from the buyers here. We're still kind of in this chop zone. So it's tough, right? Because we're like, it's a heavy tape on the day. I guess we're only down 100 points. Kind of in the middle of the range at the VWAP. We could be looking for buys and looking for shorts just because we're in this distribution. So this is going to be like initiating a trade right here could be kind of a coin flip because we're right in the middle. We're in the middle of this, which is basically right in the middle of the day. So if we're going to enter here, we got, if we're going to go long, we got to be looking for, we got to be willing to hold it and enter all the way down into this like 465, and then we're looking for probably shorts up here. It's you got to choose your direction and then figure out which way you're going to do it. I think we're setting up for probably a bigger move. London just closed. No big flurry from London, it looks like. I think maybe like getting long here. Let's do it. Let's give ourselves a certain amount of risk. So this is 50 bucks in risk. If I go all the way down here, what does that feel like? That's 100 bucks. It's 100 bucks in risk. And then we're adding on 3 candle reversals here, and we're not looking, let's get up to 5. Yep, we're gonna get up to 5, and then we're just gonna try to get out on the top side of this distribution. Let's see if we get it. And let's kind of ignore a little bit of like how much risk this is. Let's take on 500. It's crazy, $500 stop loss. We're just gonna play this range. And then we're gonna try to, so you're just buying the low side of this distribution, and then we're trying to ride it up to the high side. And then we're gonna nickel and dime it. So we've got 5 on. And so we're going to try to get out and then get back in and get out and get back in and get out and get back in. So yeah, right now we have $500 in risk on. But I click this button here, and now we have 400 in risk on. And we just took whatever, 30 bucks. Take another one off. Boom, there we go. Now we're gonna look to get back in underneath that VWAP, and we're gonna try to buy back in down in this zone and then get up in this one. We're seeing a taper. We're seeing the buyers taper quite a bit up there. So I'm gonna take another one off. Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing too much of a taper on the upside on this guy right here. Right? So we'll put these guys side by side. Yep, I'm gonna accept that. I'm gonna accept the risk all the way down there for right now. You can see, yeah, I mean you can see these bulls filling this out. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna lock this in. There we go. And now again we're looking for something down here. So how do we do on this? We got 503, 15, 30, 120 bucks. We basically made 120 bucks in this. So it looks like. I should have been ready to add right there, but it wasn't. Because I was trying to do math. There we go. Yeah, that would have been a really nice place to add right there. All right, SEP's going to break even, and we're gonna try to. Now the question is do we want to let the runner run, or do we think we're at the top of the zone and now we're gonna come back down? I think what I'm gonna do is I'll exit if I get a pretty convincing 3-candle reversal up here, because this is where you would be looking for a failure, and we'll see if we can spot the failure here. Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that off screen. Or just let the failure fail, and who cares about the P&L? Let's just watch for it over here and over here. Kind of getting a 3-candle reversal, right? But like not really. This 530 is probably the key level. If we take that out, it's probably dead. And then you can see this low volume node right here, right? So we're looking at this, and this would actually be a really good place to have a static stop instead of a trailing one. All right, we're going to take off our stop to the upside, and we're just going to let this one run. All right, here we go. So we're looking for the 65, right? This is that level that we've been targeting here for a while. So target hit, 3-candle reversal right here, like a sharp sell off, and that's probably going to be a retracement all the way back down to that VWAP. See if we're tapering. Nope, still pretty strong up here. But we're hitting this, right? We're hitting this low volume node. So took profit on it. Up 600 bucks. Let's see if this fails. That'd be pretty awesome if it did at this 65. I don't have big enough balls to short right here. I'd be more looking for it to get back at around 540 or 520. So this is interesting how we put this volume in right here, this little volume node. So that's that. I mean, that's basically where I got out. But this could be like the new place to add on a bounce. I think that could be a key place to watch. See what this looks like. A little bit of a taper, a little bit. Yeah, that's slipping. We're slipping up here. This is where I can get burnt a lot. It would be an ad right now. And then it slips down. Yep, there it is. There's that burn. Yep. So good I didn't. We're seeing heavy selling in here, right? Heavy selling right there. These buyers were weak-handed because we just slipped right through them. Look at that exit, man. That exit was fucking killer. Okay, we're selling off. Now we gotta build our case for where we're gonna buy. Right, so the volume build that we're looking for was basically right around here. And now we're coming into it. This is where we're gonna look for signs for a long, right? So here's this volume build right here. I'm gonna put 2 on right now, and we're gonna accept some risk again. Yep, we're gonna accept some risk down here again. And we're gonna get busy with this. We're gonna get busy with this position. So we're gonna take nickels and we're gonna add back in, and we're gonna take off and add in, and take off and add in. So yeah, we're gonna lock this in for right now. That's $20. And then if we dip back down, we're probably gonna go back in again. Yeah, I really like this entrance. Entry. That's a lot of volume right there. That's a lot of volume at that 513. This could be an ad right now. Could be an ad. Could be kind of an aggressive ad. So I'm gonna put. We're gonna get 6. Then we're gonna get 6. We're gonna try to get back up to the top of this range. See if we can get up to that 65 again. I have a target here. I have a target here. Take a nickel. Take a nickel. Take a nickel. There we go. Not ready to move. Stops break even. Yeah, I am. Let's go stops break even. So we don't lose on this position. Because we could just reject and just take a giant shit lower. Take it. Oh shit, no, didn't get it. All right, I don't know why my stops aren't on, but I'm gonna just get out right now. All right, so we look at our P&L, $700 straight up. I don't even know if we had a losing trade. Let's check it out. Um, some really nice exits. Okay, heroes and losers. Look at this ad down here. That ad was tight. Um, yeah, that was the beginning of the video. So, we did have some losers in there, and that was on a get out break even situation. We had those two losers for, you know, $6 or whatever that was, but that's the system.